WBCR, Bloomfield College Radio, presents Bloomfield's Best, an opportunity to hear from those who call Bloomfield College home, a one-on-one chat to find out why the college has made a difference. Bloomfield's Best is made possible by the John B. Skowronski 91 Communication Scholarship.
This is Bloomfield's Best. I'm Rayne Russell. Joining me here at WBCR is Bloomfield College Board of Trustees member and graduate of Bloomfield College, Adebola Taiwo. Great to see you.
Great to see you, too. Thanks for having me.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great.
Good. So can you tell us a little bit about your current job and how that came about?
So, yes, I've been with Verizon for about 5 years. I'm on the current role right now, which is actually a special role. We're trying to save $10 billion in 3 years, so I'm part of the group handling that. It's a lot of work, but also a lot of learning and exposure, so I really like it a lot.
What is the community like at Verizon?
The community of Verizon, wow, it's very diverse, it's very open, it's very encouraging. Especially as a young adult, it's definitely a place where I feel more welcome. This is a company where I've stayed the longest so far. And being on a board of trustee here at Bloomfield College, they accommodate my schedule and they also match my donations. So that's a great company.
So I have read an article about that Verizon had did on you. And in there it mentions how your parents were very big on education. So how has that played a role in your life in school?
A big deal, actually. I'm Nigerian, and with Nigerians, you can't study enough. They still ask you, oh, you have your master's, that's nothing. You need to go and get a PhD. Like, you don't have a PhD, they don't care if you need it or not. You still need one. But education has always been a huge deal. Back home, it's almost impossible to find someone that's not educated. And because the opportunities are better when you're educated. So it played a lot. My parents are huge on it. You know, they wanted me to be a doctor. I'm better as an accountant, but they're happy now. And, you know, they support me all the way. Yes.
From my understanding also, you struggled a little bit financially while attending Bloomfield. How were you able to stay motivated?
Well, my background is one. I knew that I had to graduate college. I had no choice, no option, right? And two, I grew up, the way my parents raised me, you're very resilient. I started boarding school at 9 years old. Like, I've been independent for a long time. So I just knew I had to get a college degree. I had to talk to the right people. I was lucky when I was working at the bank. Someone told me, hey, you have high grade point. You should talk to the school before. You know, if you're having issues with paying for school, they should be able to help you. And it was really tough, but I went into director of admissions and they looked at my grade. They didn't make any promises, but they said they will help out. They will try their best. Within 2 hours, I got my scholarship, and that is so amazing. I was working at the bank, and I was coming here working full-time. I'm going to school full-time as well. And I had gotten a note saying that I would lose my registration if I did not pay for my school. And that was a very big concern for me because it was going to happen the second time. So I struggled trying to look for loans and trying to look for funds. I knew I couldn't afford it and I didn't want to drop out. And I was lucky to talk to someone at my job who said, hey, you know, maybe you should talk to the school about it. To be honest with you, making like $6-7 an hour and trying to afford education in a private college, it's not easy. And it's just, it's very painful. It's more painful than anything else that you're gonna fail again at what you wanted to do, right? So, and knowing that I would lose my registration, I was concerned. I talked to people. They said, oh, maybe you can get a scholarship at your school. I came to the college. I spoke to the director of admissions, and it was really tough. I actually remember, because at the time my mother wasn't feeling well, and I talked to them. I would say, hey, I can't really get a loan at this moment. I don't feel comfortable, and also I don't want to lose my registration or lose my coming to school again for the second time. And the lady in charge, the director in charge, actually said she would work on that and get back to me. I got 2 scholarships, right? The Best Food Scholarships and Presidential Scholarship Award. And those renewed every single year. And when I went to one of the receptions, I met the people for Best Foods. And these are regular people. I thought it was, big corporation. It's just good to see that there are corporations out there that really, care about you and everything. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be a college graduate today if I didn't get that scholarship. And most likely, if I wasn't at Bloomfield College, I wouldn't have that college education too. So it was very, very helpful that, someone can put that out for people that they do not know. So if anyone is struggling, not knowing what it feels like to struggling through like not being able to afford things, just like the homeless students and stuff, it happened to the most of us, to the best of us, I would say. And just don't sit in that and think that, oh, this is my reality. It can get better for you. And just being able to voice that out to the right people will be much more, impactful.
So how did you come to Bloomfield? Like, what made you apply here or get interested in coming to here?
Okay, so I used to work for a bank, Valley National Bank on Bloomfield Avenue. And I had looked all over looking for a college to attend because at that time I was about 19, did not attend college yet. I couldn't even tell people because it's to me as a Nigerian, it's kind of like it's not very looked upon as a good thing not to have started college, but I couldn't afford it. So a little backstory: when I first came here from Nigeria, I came at 17. I immediately applied to a community college and could not pay for the school, so I had to drop out. So I said, I'll work a little bit more and then come back and apply again. So while I was working at that bank, it was the time that I was looking for a college to attend. I went online and other universities and colleges needed you to fill out so much, and I went to high school in Nigeria. So for some reason, maybe because I've been going to different colleges online, Bloomfield reached out to me through mail. And they said, open house, come on in, instant, you can apply immediately and you may be granted in immediately. I was like, wow, this is great. It's not too far from my job. It's probably about 5 miles away. So I came in and I came to see someone. I had gone to all the schools already before this. I came to see someone here at Bloomfield, and I talked to people about admissions, about financial aid, and the same day I was able to be accepted. I had to give them my scores and everything, but it was just such an open and welcoming environment. So I felt like, yeah, I can fit in here. And that's how I started at Bloomfield. It was quick. It was within a week, I was ready to be in college. So it felt amazing because for me to have failed the first time, it felt great to be in a community that actually welcomes you.
Were there any key people who motivated you or helped you along your way, like in your process to be at Bloomfield and still graduate from Bloomfield? Absolutely,
and they're still in my life today. So at Bloomfield, as you know, we are very close-knit family. Even though you're the president of the college, that doesn't mean that you don't see the students. So I've had, whenever I'm on the dean's list and we go to these events, the first one I met, President Laval, and he walked up to me, talked to me, as if he knew me, he asked my major. He said, accounting, you're going to always have a job. And I was initially like, oh, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do accounting or not. So that was great. He talked to me, asked me about my background. Dr. Lamy, I will tell you right now, Dr. Lamy is my mother's favorite person. At Bloomfield College, he's my favorite as well. But every year, every semester, we will meet up with him, we'll talk, and I have to take a picture with him with my family. We'll wait for that. He talks to me because I'm not a traditional student. I was going at night. So it was different for me, and he would encourage me. I would see the professors. My first professor in math, he told me, he said, you're going places. And I wasn't even sure if I was ready for college yet because I was working full-time. He told me that. As another professor, Luis Gonzalez, who passed away, my business professor, he told me, you're going to have a very bright future. You remind me of myself. He told me his background. He's very well educated. It's just having people, even when you're not sure you're going to make it. Accounting, I did accounting because I went to work for a bank, and the bank was going to pay for part of it. I didn't know that's what I wanted to do, but you had to be close to banking. And for me to get all those support from the professors and the people that work here, the staff, it was just amazing. I mean, I can go on and on. The career development, it's like nonstop. I've been supported the whole way here. So Bloomfield it's just been an amazing journey.
Did you have any prior passions or other things that you were involved in on campus at all?
So while I was in campus, I was also working full-time. I was working close to 70 hours a week and taking full course load here. So it was almost impossible for me to be involved in all the extracurricular activities. And I wish I did, but I just did not have time, even to some point that I had to be late for classes. But because of my performance and my when I talked to professors, Dr. Marianne Dillard, absolutely, that's my second mother. She was amazing. Like they would accommodate my schedule, so I did not get involved in a lot of events. But I think I've made up for it since I've been alumni and a trustee. But I did not get involved at all, but just unless I'm invited to speak or anything like that.
As far as when did you start applying to jobs or like other jobs or other internships or anything?
So I actually had my full-time job, ready a year before I graduated. I graduated in 2009. As we all know, the market crashed. But a year before then, I started, I didn't even know I should start looking. Someone reached out to me from NJS CPA, which is New Jersey Society of CPAs, because of my grade. And they wanted me to come to they have this event once a year where they have students come in and they meet all these companies. And then I heard about National Association of Black Accountants, which is an association that's very well known, very influential. And I went to one of the convention and met a lot of companies. And that way I was able to meet the top big four accounting companies. And I did interviews on the spot, got an offer the same week. So I got that a year before I graduated. Actually, I had like about 4 job offers, but ended up working for PricewaterhouseCoopers. It wasn't as terrible, but as for looking, because I had all those opportunities. But the whole process of looking for stuff, like getting involved in organizations, is what helped for the internship.
When you started applying to different places and doing interviews, as you said, was it hard to stay true to your identity as well as still try to land a job?
Yeah, I would say yes. I know better now. And that's my message for students is you have to be authentic. You have to be yourself. You cannot lose yourself throughout the process. You will lose some opportunities, but maybe they're not the right ones for you. So when I was looking out there, I was trying to fit the image that they wanted me to be. And if you see me today, I'm very colorful. I always have a bright lipstick on. I always have bright clothes on, but I just assumed I'm going to accounting. And I was told by certain people, you're going into an accounting field, you have to wear only certain colors, you have to be a certain way. And I lost a lot of my personality, which makes me along the way. And I realize now the opportunities that I get is actually way bigger than the ones I had earlier, because now I am myself. And people do want you to be yourself. A lot of even senior leaders want you because you're different. They want that difference of, your personality, your ideas, the way you do things. So, yeah, initially I did try to fit the mold for a few years, but then I said, you know what? If it doesn't work, me being me, it wasn't meant for me. And that has worked 100%. So I hope students will take that advice.
You're listening to Bloomfield's Best. I'm Rayne Russell with Board of Trustee member Adebola Taiwo. Going back to now, in your position now, how did you start working at Verizon?
Verizon, a recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn, and I wanted to make that note. LinkedIn is very important for every student should have a LinkedIn account, because recruiters will reach out to you. A lot of opportunities will come to you from there. A recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn and told me about Verizon opportunities, and that's how I went from there. I went on a phone interview, and then went in person and got into the SOX department, which is internal controls, and that's where I started.
So what exactly do you do in your position?
In my current position, we look at all of the expenses that Verizon has. And what we try to do is understand why and what we spend our money on and how is it benefiting us in the long run. This is more like a waste reduction program. We're doing it over a course of 4 years. We're trying to save $10 billion. And we will be the first company to do something that large size. It's called the zero-based budgeting program that we have going on. So we're looking at everything from buildings and facilities to personnel costs to direct costs, and saying, not cutting people and saying we want to cut and reduce people, but hey, are we using our people in the right areas? Are we really utilizing the resources we have? And if we're not, maybe we should go this other way, looking at new vendors. And a big thing about Verizon is diversity, making sure we're very diverse in all ways, and just trying to be the best company, but using a very lean approach to be able to get even better results. So, yeah.
With that, how did you start? When did you start coming back to Bloomfield and getting involved on the campus again?
Okay, so based on the experience that I had at Bloomfield and my upbringing, I've always, as a young kid, wanted to give back to education. Not sure why, but it's always been on my, that's just been top. Because I believe that, honestly, I believe education should be free. You know, if you do want to be educated, the fact that you want to be educated, you should be able to get it. So for me, affordable education is needed, one, for my background. And then the fact that I went through it. I went through that struggle where I had to drop out, and I know how that feels, where you feel like you can't make it, you can't do certain things, and I was able to do that. So when I graduated, a month afterwards, I started my scholarship. And it was very scary because it's like, oh, you're going to start giving money and you're saying this all out loud. How are you going to fund it? So I started my scholarship very small. I tell people you don't have to do $1 million before you can give back. I started with $1,000 scholarship. That's $20 a week. You will be surprised how much that changes someone's life. So I talked to the people in charge of the scholarship program. I told them I was going to start my scholarship, one scholarship a year, and it would go every single year, not annual scholarship. Luckily, I was working for a company that would match the amount, and a lot of companies do to a certain amount. So that's how I started. I just reached out to the school, and they were more than willing to help out. So,
what is the name of your scholarship?
So Adebola Taiwo scholarship. Adebola Taiwo 09 scholarship, and it goes. My scholarship right now has grown to over 10 times the initial size, and I started with just giving it to accounting student that has the highest GPA, because when I graduated with a high GPA, I did not get anything for that, and I feel like if you work hard, you should get paid for that. But now I have different classes, different levels of that can receive that scholarship, and also I just started the homeless scholarship, well, not a scholarship, but a fund, where, it's not restricted. It's however way they need to use it, because we do have students that, they're here, but they don't have a place to go during the summertime. So what happens? We have, as part of, the first time I heard about that was as part of the Alumni Association. We had that. We would talk to by Dr. Lamy, saying they have students on campus that will have to be homeless during the summer. That what can we do about it? And we did fund that. And I felt like it should continue ongoing. It shouldn't be just in case we need it for one student or more. And I think it works for over 30 students now. So so that's the second scholarship I have right now. I'm hoping at some point I will reach like $1 million goal, but right now I'm trying as best as I could.
Besides the scholarships, have you done anything else to contribute to the Bloomfield College campus? Yes.
So Bloomfield College, I feel like I do more work with Bloomfield College than my job that's actually paying me. It's funny you ask that, because people always ask me, do you get paid for this? So why are you doing this? So maybe you use this in the future for a job offer, maybe this and that. And it just comes from passion, right? So for me, when I first graduated, and I just wanted to give scholarship and just go. I didn't want to do anything else, just want to give scholarship. But Bloomfield College is not like that. They will draw you in. And I joined the Alumni Association, I think a year after I graduated, around 2010. And I was working with the alumni group, being on the board and everything, sometimes being the secretary, And I realized how much the school needed in terms of like mentorship and, funds and all kind of help that we can give the students, because a lot of them come from underprivileged families and backgrounds, just like I did. And they need someone that will be there for them. So started with the Alumni Association, and I would take mentees under my wing. I've mentored students from like the freshman year all the way through till they got a job. Like, I think I may have been the first or one of the first few to go to the big accounting firms from here. And since then, I've mentored students. I know 2 of them that actually mentored from scratch that went to the Big Four as well. One of them got my scholarship. He's from Jamaica. He called me aside and he said to me, I packed up my bags, ready to go back to Jamaica. Could not afford anything. He had like a 3.9 GPA. We can't have those stories. It's like if you didn't get that amount, if you didn't get the money, you wouldn't have made it. And for me, that's like, wow. So you know how important that is. So I do that where I mentor students. But now being on the Board of Trustees, it's a whole different game. Like the Board of Trustees, it's so diverse in backgrounds, and most of these people did not go to Bloomfield College, but they have such a great passion for the college. They come from different levels of income, and they just the one thing that puts everyone together is that passion for the college, and that's how I fit. I was scared when I was given that opportunity that I wouldn't be able to do this. These people have years and years of experience in everything, more than I've been alive. But even being the youngest on the board, I have a seat at the table. And not only that, I started end of 2016. I'm now the chair of the Student Affairs Committee. So I get to work with one of my favorite people in the world, Dr. Lamy, and get to actually have actual impact on the school, because students, when they graduate every year, I am like a mother. Someone actually pointed out to me, the trustees, she's like, how do you know so many students? I didn't even know I know them because I reach out to them. You know, what's going on? Let's talk about something. And I feel like because they see me, I'm closer to their age, they can relate to me more. Where when I was younger and I saw people in the trust, I was like, oh, yeah, they're rich. They did all this stuff. It took them so long to get there one day. But it's easier. I get more from the college than I give to the college, I feel like, because it makes me very fulfilled to be able to give back, especially through education, which is what I've always wanted.
You talked a lot about the Board of Trustees and kind of the things that you guys do. So how did you land this position?
So that's it's a funny question because for about 3 years after giving and being active for the school, I was asked to come on the board. And I refused. I was like, I cannot be with those people know everything. What will I have to do? Do I have to be straight-faced? Do I have to do this a certain way? Would they be checking everything? It just felt like it was too much of, it was a prestigious position, but I just didn't know how I was going to fit in. And it reminded me back of, oh, you have to act a certain way and look a certain way and everything. And the person that actually told me about being on the Board of Trustees that convinced me eventually is John DeLuca, who's an alumni as well, and he's a part of the alumni as well, was the president for a while, for a long time. And he said, I told him my concerns. I'm like, these people are much older than me, even older than my parents, and I don't know if I'll be able to bring in certain things that would be impactful. And he said that this is what they need. They need that diverse background. They need to hear you, that you've been from the college. And I will tell you, one other person on my job I talked to about as well told me, I know you went to Bloomfield College, you love the college, and there's some things that you would like to change. If someone gives you a leadership position, you take it, because they're telling you we want your voice at the table. And I'm so grateful for that, because I've been learning so many leadership skills. These people are on boards of different companies. They run companies on a daily basis, CEOs, CFOs, everything. They've done a lot. And to see the way they run the board, the way they do all these committee reports, the way they handle different issues and concerns, it helps you as a person grow. And the fact that I can bring something to the table and say, oh, a student complained about this to me. How can we handle that? And they will actually listen and do something about it. That's a big deal. So, yeah, that's how I got the board. It's being asked to come on, but it's been extremely, extremely fulfilling.
Do you see yourself taking on any other leadership roles at Bloomfield College?
Absolutely. As long as it has to do with the students, I'm all in. Yeah, I am. I definitely want to. I plan on being involved till I die. I actually have I have my regular scholarship, and I have the other scholarship that doesn't end, which goes in annuity. So that will keep you involved with the school no matter what in terms of giving. But with not everyone that knows me knows Bloomfield College is, I don't think, even at my job, it's like you never heard of it, you will hear about it from me. I get so much fulfillment from here. I wish I could hit the lottery and probably just never work and just come here and do all kind of leadership. But I am very open. Wherever people think I can make an impact, I'm very open. So, yeah.
On your spare time, right, I read that you enjoy traveling and exploring different cultures. So what are your favorite spots and, like, why?
So one thing I wanted to say, even for students, again, is travel. If you can, I know it's expensive. When you can, travel. Sometimes you have to go through staying at hostels and stuff like that. It's just, it opens your mind up to so many different possibilities. I know the students just took a trip to D.C., and for me, it may not be a big travel, but a lot of people have not been outside of the state, so that's a big deal too. The traveling, actually, at some point where I was working before I came to this company, I was burnt out, and I just decided I was going to just travel because I've been working full-time and going to school full-time for a long time. Never really had a break. I traveled for a year and a half, went to all continents except the one that you really don't go to. And I traveled for a year and a half. I just went all over the world. My favorite places, I have quite a few. I'll say top list. Of course, I'm from Nigeria, so I love Nigeria because they treat me well. I'm like, I get treated like a queen every time I go by my family. But other places, I would say Amsterdam. I love Amsterdam because the Dutch, they're just very welcoming, very nice people. Dubai is amazing. Had a great time there. Trinidad and Tobago is one of the ones on my list that I just love. Anywhere in the Caribbean, actually. But yeah, those are my top ones. I could go forever. I don't want to keep going.
After experiencing different cultures and different places, has that helped you when you try to give back to Bloomfield College? Absolutely,
yes. It opens your mind, and even living in America, when you live here for a while, you forget what it's like in other places. So being able to meet students here, we have a lot of students from all over the world here. I think at graduation we have at least 50 flags. So we're very, very diverse at Bloomfield. So it's very nice when the students say they're from a certain country and you say, oh, I've been there and I like this kind of food and I've been here. Can you educate me more? I think it helps a lot more because there's some countries that wouldn't be on my list on a regular day because I like to have a lot of fun. And if it's like cold and stuff, I'm like, I don't want to go there. But if I meet a student that's from there, I could, tell me more about your country. And you'll be surprised when you ask people where they're from, the way they just open up and they just get so excited. And it kind of helps you connect, especially if you're trying to mentor or just learn more about the person. And I'm also a trustee member that likes to know what's really going on in school by talking directly to students rather than the staff. I talk to staff and also, everyone else, administration, but I like to talk to the students because the students will be very honest. So that's a way, diversity in that way helps me get through to them.
In what ways do you think students can become more active in the college community?
A lot of ways. I wasn't as active when I was at school, but I feel like I wish I did because I can see the community when people graduate and say, oh, I was a part of this and I'm still part of it. I can go back and mentor the students. So the way I look at things is this. Everyone has things that they want to improve at the college, right? Oh, the student government president, I would like them to do A, B, C, D, E. They're not doing it. Well, guess what? Get on that team and make it happen because you have to be. What I've learned is it's easier to complain, but if you're a part of the solution, it helps a lot better. It helps other people. Maybe they need that diverse person. Maybe they need your perspective. Maybe you have more talent than that's needed for that area. So I say, where in the school do you think needs help or where do you think you would fit better? And just when you think of volunteer, don't ever think of it as, oh my God, I don't have time. It comes over time. When I started with this, I did not have time at all. And I spend so much time here now. It comes over time as you build the passion, right? So it could be, for example, you're a junior student and you don't have any mentors. No one showed you how to do anything. Well, guess what? You can mentor a freshman now and talk to the student government president. This is what I would like to see. He says, oh, well, this is hard, whatever. Get on the student government board or assist in their committees. You start somewhere. Wherever you can give, you start somewhere. You have concerns, talk to if you like maybe financial aid, you have an issue, that go there and say, hey, can I volunteer here for an hour or wherever? Start somewhere. There's nowhere that I can't really tell you exactly where to go because I have to know the person and their interests. But I feel like everyone should leave a mark before they leave and never really leave, where you come back and give, especially for areas that you think it needs improvement.
Is there any advice you would give to students who have similar background as you?
Yes. So I'll say it depends on, I have a whole lot of advice. So leadership, always think of yourself as a leader. No matter what, you are a leader. A lot of times you compare yourself to other people, and especially with this day and age. I'm glad I didn't grow up in the social media age because it's much tougher for students now. And, you see people looking this lifestyle. Everyone has their own path. You may get there before me. That's fine. Maybe that's not my path. And you may get there before somebody else. That's fine as well. It's just think of yourself always as a leader and always try to do your best. And also give yourself a break. A lot of times we try to do a million things. We're like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. You're doing your best. Try to be your best authentic self. And always try to, whatever environment you're in, always try to make an impact no matter what. Make sure you're actually making an impact to wherever you are. And number one thing I always think of is be passionate to other people. You don't know where their journey is. You don't know where they're coming from. And always give back. If you've never received a dime from the school, well, guess what? You should give back because somebody else you would have appreciated it, right? So yeah, give back. It doesn't have to be money either. It could be time. You didn't get anyone to mentor you or anything. You give back. You start that. A lot of things that you don't see happening, you make that happen. Things that you see happening that you really like, improve that. So I know it's getting to the point where you're concerned about what do you want to do. A lot of people, they'll say, what are you here for on this earth? I struggled with that for a while. It'll come to you. You don't know, but you know what? Just do what you do the best and it will come to you. For me, over time, I felt like I'm here to help others, to lift them as I climb. If I'm going up, I got to bring them with me. So look back. I connect more with the younger generation than any other generation. And I see it as a strength. So I'm able to give back, mentor, just listen to them, see what they're going through without judgment. And, just make an impact wherever you are and just believe in yourself, number one, because no one else knows you more than you. And you're created for a purpose on this earth. Don't ever let anyone look down on you or make you feel bad about yourself.
In terms of, I know you said a lot about how you're a mentor and how people should seek mentors out. So how do you go about doing that?
Be bold. That's what I tell people. Be bold. You'll be surprised how many people are willing to help. I have a few stories about that. Right now in my job, I have a mentor who's my VP. I have another mentor who's a director outside of my group. I have a senior VP who's my mentor outside of my group. I've worked for him before. He actually came to me and said, I want to be your mentor. One thing I would say is, especially for minority students, a lot of times we feel like we can't connect to others because of where we come from. It's like, will they understand me? They've never been through this struggle? That's, it's not necessarily true. You should have a diverse board of mentors and sponsors. Now, there's two different things. A mentor can also be a sponsor, but a sponsor is the person that speaks up for you when you're not in the room, who will say, I know Adebola can do A, B, C, and D. I'm going to put them in this role. My current role is because of my sponsor of my job, and he's a top executive, but I worked for him, little projects here and there, and that's how I was able to get this opportunity. He came to me, I didn't go to him. But sometimes you reach out to people. You should reach out to people in different disciplines. I'll say, for me, join a professional organization. That really helped me, National Association of Black Accountants. I talk to people there. You'll be surprised how many people, even with diverse backgrounds, have been through what you're going through now. And they can help you when you're struggling through work, when you're struggling through life. Oh, I've been there. Oh, I understand you. You want to have different mentors and sponsors. Some of them you will get really real with. You will say exactly what's going on. You will get emotional with. And some of them you will say, okay, this is the decision maker for me. And you just tell them exactly what you need to get done. And they will help you through that. But I'll say, reach out to people. When you start a new job, get to know your boss, get to know people around there. Be bold. When you go to events, be involved in every event you can go to at your job. Go there, talk to people, and say, hey, I would like to connect with you. The mentors will find you. You reach out to 100 people, maybe 2 will respond, but the ones that really, really care, or not say care necessarily, because some people are very busy, but the ones that are invested will really have time and talk to you. Yeah.
Adebola Taiwo, thank you so much for joining us today, and continued success.
Thank you.
For Bloomfield's Best, I'm Rayne Russell on WBCR, Bloomfield College Radio.
Thanks for having me.
Bloomfield's Best is a WBCR production and made possible by the John B. Skowronski 91 Communication Scholarship.